So why is it that twin flames can't stop thinking about each other? And here's another good question. Is it true that both twin flames cannot stop thinking about each other? So I've coached well over 4,000 twin flame students, and I can tell you from experience, having worked with so many people, what is actually true, what is really going on, maybe why that's going on. If you're new here, you can go watch some of my other free coaching videos on my channel where I talk about why these things are happening, what I've seen as an experienced twin flame coach, and why possibly there seems to be confusion online about what twin flames are. And it's really because it's easy to confuse the twin flame connection with a soulmate connection. Okay, that's really what I think is going on. And nobody's doing that, I think, on purpose. It's easy to confuse the twin flame connection with a soulmate connection because when you meet this person, it's intensely romantic with your twin flame. They call it the bubble phase at the beginning, right? And it's fucking magical. Let's face it. And then, somewhere between usually 4 and 8 weeks, the time can vary. It can be a vastly different time period for you. But for most people, it's between 4 and 8 weeks. That's when your twin flame starts to kind of pull away and reject you. They've got excuses. I'm seeing somebody else. They ghost you, whatever it is. In some form, they're kind of pulling away from you. And that's when the obsessive thinking starts for you. That's when you can't stop thinking about this person. And then you get online and you start looking around for answers about what's going on. And you find other people who think they're talking about twin flames. And it could even be a couple who think that they are twin flames and they are actually soulmates, and they're not doing anything intentionally wrong. I think they really just want to help, really is what they want to do. But again, because of the romance that comes with either a soulmate or a twin flame, that's what causes confusion. And so you're going to see people just giving you advice. They just want to help you. And in a soulmate connection, it could be both people are thinking about each other, right? But in a twin flame connection, it doesn't seem to be that way. It doesn't seem like the other person really is giving a fuck about you. Let's be honest about that. They're not thinking about you at all. And you might even be wondering if they're thinking about you. Or you could be interpreting things that they're doing and attaching things to it to make it seem like they are thinking about you. And then later you're going, well, maybe they weren't thinking about me. And it's confusing, guys. And it's because there's a lot of confusing information online about twin flames. So let's get this all straightened out in this video. Let's get this all straightened out. Let's start with what twin flames are, and then we can understand why you're having this obsessive thinking about them, and maybe if they're thinking about you, and why they would or wouldn't be thinking about you. So what are twin flames? Well, everybody seems to get one thing right about twin flames, and it's that it's one soul in two bodies. The soul like splits kind of thing, right? And that's easy to understand if you look at it kind of in a practical way. The soul incarnates and deincarnates and reincarnates, right? There's past lives, future lives. The soul, it does that. It incarnates past lives, future lives. Well, this is just an overlap. This is two incarnations of your soul going on right now in the same time period. That's all this is. And then there's this polarization at the level of the mind. So remember, you are body, mind, soul. The mind is duality. The mind is opposites. It's polarization. And we can even point to ancient spiritual teachings that are tens of thousands of years old. And there's even this convergence of science and spirituality today where we see parallels like that. And I talk about that all the time on this channel, how there's this kind of duality in spiritualism and there's this duality in science. So in spiritualism, they call it yin and yang, or alpha and the omega. And they talk about how the mind works on a system of duality. And true spiritual transcendence is when you transcend the duality of the mind. So that's kind of ancient Zen spiritualism in a nutshell. So in science, in the discipline of science, they're going to talk about it in terms of relativity, or even quantum physics. You're going to see positive proton, negative electron, and of course there's neutral neutron, but these are kind of the opposites, or there's something which is neither or, right? The neutron. So duality, that's kind of the principle of this universe. Okay, so the mind is duality. Now, what is the soul? Right? Remember, body, mind, soul. Well, the soul is non-duality. You could even call it a singularity, and there's even something in science called a singularity. A singularity is that which is at the very heart of a black hole. That is, in effect, a black hole. And a singularity is where time and space actually breaks down. Mathematics itself actually breaks down and ceases to function. And they really just cannot explain what it is and how it works or why it works. They just know that it works. And it's extremely fascinating science to talk about. Also, a singularity is what they believe the Big Bang came from. Okay, so it's non-duality, singularity. Okay, duality, this, that, dual, two things, opposites, a sliding scale even, if you will, and then singularity or non-duality. Now in spiritualism, same thing. The soul, non-duality. It's a monad. It's the one. It's the oneness, right? There's the duality of mind, and then there's the oneness of the soul, the non-duality, non-linearity of the ultimate, right? The source, right? Source, one, infinite, no opposite, right? So non-duality, singularity, and duality. Both of those things are in science and spiritualism. So again, we have this convergence of science and spiritualism. So that's the machine, right? Body, mind, soul. And the soul is where you and your twin flame are completely uniform. There's no opposites, okay? And the soul is consciousness. That's what the soul is. The mind is duality. Now, from this understanding of the machine, of how this system works. And again, this is an ancient spiritual teaching. I didn't really tell you anything new over the last 5 minutes of this video. But from this place of understanding the machine, understanding the science, the engineering of what is going on, the mechanics of soul and of mind and of reincarnation and even metaphysics, can we understand what's going on with you and your twin flame? Remember, this person is just another incarnation of your soul. And what I've observed as a twin flame coach, again, well over 4,000 students, I've caused more unions than any other coach in the world, and it's probably because my approach is scientific. What have I noticed? You're polarized with your twin flame at the level of the mind. So when they start to pull away from you at the end of the bubble love phase, remember, somewhere after, it's usually between 4 and 6 weeks, there's the bubble phase where it's all magical and romantic and amazing and beautiful, and then they start to pull away. And again, it could be a different period of time for you, but it's most people, it's usually somewhere between 4 and 8 weeks, 6 weeks, it's kind of somewhere in there. Then you start the obsessive thinking, and the obsessive thinking is so bizarre. Leave your comments in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you. What is your best description of the obsessive thinking? Because it's so bizarre that it's like it's happening to you. It's like it's beyond description. Please let me know in the comments section below. And it doesn't seem to be happening to the other person. They just don't seem to be given an F at all. It's like nothing. Right? Now, look at it this way. You'll find this interesting. This might make more sense to you. Listen to this. The more that you focus on them, the more that they seem to focus on anything but you. The more that you focus on them, the more that they seem to focus on anything but you. And they're not fucking focusing on you at all. They're not. Now, if you're in a situation where your twin flame is seeming to focus on you and that doesn't really resonate with you, well, tell me so. Put your comments in the description box below. But then again, another thing that I've noticed as a twin flame coach is as my student goes through this journey and they kind of get out of the duality-based energy of the mind and they align more with the non-duality of the soul, which is your twin flame. Remember, it's one soul in two bodies. They're just another incarnation of your soul. That's when your twin flame does come back. And sometimes they do think about you, and they can even think about you very intensely, but it's after you have gotten out of the obsessive thinking. It's long after that. You're out of the obsessive thinking over this person, and you're really just going within, and you're not even focusing on them, and that's when they seem to focus on you. But it doesn't seem to be as intense for them. Or I've had students who say, no, my twin flame didn't do that at all. And guys, the only thing I can think of because of those inconsistencies between different sets of students, well, your twin flame is a person. You know, they've got their own personality patterns too. So that maybe is the best explanation that we could give to it. You know, your twin flame is their own person. They're going to have their own personality traits also. And, you know, maybe it is kind of, I don't know if bigoted is the right word, to actually point to your twin flame and go, yeah, all those divine masculines, they all do this. Yeah. Well, maybe, but not necessarily. The only thing that I can see consistently between students is the energy, the mental energy, the mind, body, mind, soul. The mind is thoughts and emotions and metaphysical energy. And the more that you seem to focus on this person externally, on the actual physical person, the more that they're going to focus on anything but you. If you take your focus off of them, they do come back, however. And again, it can be confusing looking around on the internet for information about twin flames. Because again, because of the little bubble phase at the very beginning, it's extremely romantic. And a lot of people do get twin flames confused with soulmates. And you even have a couple, like a soulmate couple, they've got a beautiful connection. And I'm so happy for them. But, you know, they get confused and they put the twin flame label on what they are doing. And you can tell that they are soulmates because they have this intensely romantic emotional connection where they both expect like a certain reciprocation. Okay, and I'm not saying that's bad, but that's not what this is. This is where you actually kind of get out of the duality system of the mind and of like a reciprocated relationship, and you really are just going within. Okay, this isn't going to make sense to your mind. You might even say, that doesn't sound good. Or you might even project onto the twin flame and onto the twin flame template, if you will, and say, well, that doesn't sound like a healthy dynamic. And it's not healthy or unhealthy. Okay, that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's not duality with your twin flame. When you're in union with your twin flame, it's just being. There's no running and chasing. There's no suspicion. There's no system. There's no reciprocation. It just is. And there's no more useful way to describe it because a description is a thought. A thought is a concept. That's the mind. This is not a journey of the mind. This is a journey of the soul. You actually transcend all those systems and you let go of those things and instead just go within and you're just very focused on your own spiritual ascension. And all of a sudden your twin flame shows up and you're like, oh, hey, I haven't seen you for a while, and they're just there with you, and it's just calm. And that's all it is. And all of the past dramas and traumas, they're just gone. And you're just in a place of acceptance, and that's all it is. Now, if this sounds interesting to you or confusing to you, I would invite you to go watch my coaching videos because this is not what people think it is, the twin flame journey. And again, I think it's because, guys, people are often confused and they try to put the soulmate template on twin flames, and that's understandable. It's totally fine. We're not saying anybody's doing anything wrong or nefarious by doing that. It's an easy mistake to make because, again, the bubble love phase at the beginning with your twin flame, it's so intensely romantic, and so it's easy to make that mistake. But go check out my free coaching videos, guys, all over this channel. I've even compiled some of the best ones onto a playlist. If you'd like to go check them out, there's a playlist on this YouTube channel. The name of that playlist is called How to Get Your Twin Flame. And I think you'll find my science-based approach to twin flames very, very refreshing. And it's very simple to understand why I would take a scientific approach. Guys, there's really no such thing as magic. You can call it magic if you want. I mean, certainly when you get into the more advanced phases, if you will, if that's the right word, of this journey, it is a lot of fun and it's very magical in that sense. But really, magic is just technology that we haven't understood yet. It'd be like if I took this cell phone on a time machine. I'm shooting this video on a cell phone back in time, and I ran into Benjamin Franklin. This is an analogy that I use often. he's gonna look at it and he's gonna say, well, it's not really magic, but it's some kind of strange technology that we haven't figured out yet. Right. It's just like quantum physics is figuring out like the physics of particles and how they can move around. And actually that's how they invented microcomputers, was the breakthroughs in quantum technology. And that's what this is, guys. This is where science and spiritualism are converging, right? So we're starting to understand this machine, the three-part triune being, body, mind, soul, and how we integrate into this holographic universe. We are starting to understand that technology, and your twin flame is just trying to show you that. Okay, the mind is duality. The more you focus on them, the more they're going to focus on anything but you. And so if this is a genuine twin flame connection, you're probably going to see them not really caring. I mean, they might a little bit just to be empathetic towards you. My twin flame did that. But for the most part, she was just trying to like, get away from me. And she felt sorry for me at times too, yes, but she wasn't really obsessively thinking about me. I was obsessively thinking about her, okay? And it's so intense, the obsessive thinking. So let's just be honest and have an honest dialogue about what is going on here and how you can tell what this is. It seems confusing. Everybody on the internet is just trying to figure out what's going on. And that's all it is. And this is an emerging science. So if you're new here, welcome. Please subscribe. Go check out my free coaching videos. I'm a lot different than a lot of the other information I think you'll find out there about this emerging science, about this topic. It can be very confusing. So go check it out, guys. Check me out, check some other people out, match it to your experience, and see what works for you. Thank you very much for watching. Give me a like. Go check out my free content. I'll be here every single week uploading another one of these free coaching videos to help you on your journey. And I'm also doing law of attraction videos. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Thanks for watching. See you next time.